so that we have a version of this to share with folks later. One moment. All right, we are live here and on YouTube, so we'll go ahead and get going. Thank you, everyone who's here. It's super exciting to see, especially all these names I don't recognize, which is fantastic. I am joined here in the room by John Gebertadios. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Sean Dillon. I'm the managing director of Huge Theater, and I'm here in the room with John Gebertadios, who is our director of diversity and inclusion, as well as Shay Roberts-Gillen, who is our volunteer coordinator for this year's Improvathon, for which we are mightily grateful. Thank you both for being here. For either of them, this is sort of going to be PowerPoint karaoke. Oh, hey, kiddo, how's it going? Yeah, Shay or John, feel free to jump in at any point with anything you have to share. If anybody has any questions that you'd like to get answered, go ahead and throw those in the chat, and we'll answer them at the appropriate moment, or at the very least at the end. So welcome. This is the kickoff meeting for Huge Improvathon 2021. This is doubly exciting for us because last year the event had to happen entirely online. It was amazing that it happened, and it was amazing how well it went, but I think we are all really, really excited to be doing this in person again. For any of you who've done the event before, you know just how much amazing energy is in the room for this thing, and we're excited to share that with folks. So, oh, hold on one second. Okay. Oh, come on, go forward. There we go. All right. So what is Improvathon? For anyone who's not familiar with the event, what Improvathon is it's our way of participating in Minnesota's Give to the Max Day, which is an event where charities all over the state are all fundraising in the same 24-hour period, because we're Minnesotan and we don't like bothering the rest of the world about it the rest of the time. So it's an organized event, and there are incentives for us. You know what, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, it's also our biggest fundraiser of the year, far and away. It has happened in the past that fully 1/10 of the income we make to cover our budget in the year, it was donated during Improvathon and Give to the Max Day. Practically speaking, for all of you who are here, what is it? It is 28 straight hours of improv, featuring often like 42 to 50 different groups and hundreds of people, all playing on the same stage over that 28-hour period. So we start at 8 p.m. The evening before Give to the Max Day and go right through midnight of the next day. It is an absolute joy for everyone who does it. It is a way that so many people connect with each other in our community. It's one of the few times when in the span of a single day, we get a big swath of our performing community all in one place. So I'm excited to have you all here for it. When is Improvathon? As I said, it's Give to the Max Day, which is on November 18th, and we kick off on the evening before with some acts leading up to that, but then we go all day, midnight to midnight on Thursday. I have a mention of Iron Audience on there. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But if we do have an Iron Audience, our general expectation for them is that they join us just for the Thursday part of that, and if they want to, any of the Wednesday. But I'll talk a little more about that one, what that is in a minute. Where is Improvathon? It is on site at Huge Theater on Lyndale Avenue. This year, it'll be a little bit hybridized. We think we may have a few acts from out of town that will be joining us and performing on screen. Whether we'll be broadcasting that directly in the theater or not is still a little bit of an open question. We're still sort of working that out internally. But there is the option potentially, if you want to be a part of Improvathon, but you're not comfortable being there in the room for whatever reason, we can make that happen. So want to let everybody know that. Why do we do Improvathon? We do it because Give to the Max Day, in addition to being just a statewide day of giving, they build some incentives into that day. Essentially, it's like a big lottery that happens every hour, and every donation that is given to any organization of any size is entered into those lotteries and then are drawn for additional prizes, anywhere from $500 up to $10,000. And Huge has been the recipient of a number of $500 and $1,000 bonus prizes over the years, and it does help. It also means that a donation of any size, if somebody donates $5 to Improvathon, there is a chance that that $5 could become $500, $1,000, $10,000, because every donation is of equal value in that lottery. As a nonprofit, donations are just really important to Huge. As I said, Improvathon in particular it represents a big part of our fundraising for the year, and is really important to keeping Huge operating. It means that we can keep doing things like keeping ticket prices low, so the shows stay very accessible for everybody. It means that we can offer scholarships very broadly to our classes to anyone who requests them. It means that we're able to underwrite festivals like Black and Funny, Queer and Funny, the Tiny Funny Fest, all of which carry some financial risk, and we're able to take some of that financial risk on because we have these funds from these donations. So it's a really big deal. And like I said, it's just an event that brings the entire community together. So even if we weren't making a lot of money at it, I'd like to believe we would still be doing it. Or trying to make a lot of money at it, I should say. All right. So who is Improvathon? You are. If you're here, hopefully you will want to be a part of the Improvathon event this year in some capacity. And we're so excited to have you. If you have a group that wants to perform and is willing to fundraise, we would love to have you. We have groups anywhere from, we've had 101 classes that got together and decided to do a set in Improvathon. That's fabulous. All the way up to, we have some of the most experienced groups in the city that come and perform with us and have a good time. Very little qualifications on that. If you want to help, but you don't want to perform, you are still welcome to make a fundraising page for Improvathon and pitch in and fundraise. Specifically, we in many past years, aside from last year, we've had an iron audience. And what the iron audience is, for those who don't know, is it's folks who sign on to be there for the entire duration of the event. So from midnight to midnight on Give to the Max Day, they are there watching shows, sometimes taking naps, but just committed, enthusiastic audience members for the entire thing. And we love having them. This year, we're holding off on the question of whether we'll have an iron audience just for reasons of COVID safety. We kind of want to see where things are at when we come up closer to the event. But I'm hoping by around mid-October, we'll have a pretty clear sense of the trajectory of where everything is going, and we can make a yes or no call on whether we feel comfortable putting people in the position of being there in the building for 24 to 28 continuous hours. And our iron audience typically also does a little bit of fundraising, so they're helping out with that as well and talking to their friends. Can we accommodate online performances? Yes, as I said earlier, yes, we absolutely can, both from local and from non-local groups. I'm personally really hoping we can get groups from, Korea and Australia to take some of those deep in the night performance slots to ease that burden on some of our local performers who may find those times difficult. But fundraising expectations there are the same. For anyone who is just joining us or has joined since I've started, if any questions come up at all, feel free to post those in the chat. We'd be happy to answer them. And again, I am Sean Dillon, the manager.
Sean.
Yeah, John.
It's just me. I'm just me, and I'm just thinking to myself, wow, you're doing a great job, Sean. So,
Am I going too fast?
No, you're doing great. This is good. I think we have a question in the chat, but you're crushing. I mean, Well,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. If I do get going too fast, please, anybody feel free to post that in the chat. I am a fast talker. But I do see the question from Bree about the possibility for a virtual Iron audience. Yeah, that is not off the table. That is definitely something we could look at if or maybe in addition to an in-person Iron audience, if we can't do the Iron audience right in the theater. So if you have any specific thoughts about that, Bree, I would love to chat further about those offline. Yeah, we'll see how that is. Great. So moving on. So our goals for this thing, this year, our goal is to raise $50,000 or more for Huge. We would love to be able to bump up that goal. That would be fantastic. Other goals, though, are to expand our circle of friends, the people who know about and care about Huge Theater. So spreading the word about Huge inside and outside the Twin Cities. And building that support from friends and family. So making them more aware of Huge and what it does and what it means to the people who are involved with it. We also want to encourage both new and existing groups to perform. It has been a rough year and a half for people getting to actually get on stage and perform. So if you've been struggling to sort of get past that like struggle with getting back on stage and doing the thing, I tell you, there's no lower pressure improv opportunity than 3 a.m. On a random Thursday. So if you hadn't performed in a while, if you've been performing constantly, if you're part of a class that would like to join us and perform, all of those things are great. And as I said, yeah, encouraging students to get involved. So hopefully we'll have at least one, maybe more class groups or groups of students who just want to get in there and give it a shot and help Huge Theater out.
Doing wonderful, Sean. Keep it up.
Thank you, John. I appreciate having a hype man here.
I'm just coming on to cheer on John, who is doing a great job cheering you on.
Absolutely. Oh God.
Yeah, as a cheer train.
All right. Yeah, no, it's true. He's the best. All right. So beyond that, yeah, I mean, it's an amazing community event. Like I said, there's no opportunity to meet more people involved with Huge than during Improvathon. Even if you're only there for a few hours, there's so many folks coming and going at all times of day and night. So it's wonderful in that way. We do have some friendly competition. All of the folks fundraising for Huge, for Improvathon, are on a leaderboard on the GiveMN site for Give to the Max Day. So there is some friendly gamesmanship to see, where you are in the standings and who is raising the most money for this event. So that's a lot of fun. We also give away T-shirts. So I have an image of that I'll show you in just a minute. And we have some prizes for our top fundraisers, usually our top 3 fundraising groups. We've got some nice prizes for them. We'll talk about those in a minute, as well as if we do have an Iron audience, we've got some comparable prizes for the top Iron audience fundraisers. And then I think for a lot of people, the most fun aspect of this entire thing is that the entire leadership staff and core staff of Huge Theater is there and awake for the entire 28 hours. So that means John, who's on the line here, as well as Brianna, myself, Butch, Jill, and hopefully our new artistic director, whoever that is, will be there awake and ready to be on stage. We set up a doorbell system right on the stage that at any time, whatever group is performing can hit the doorbell for any one of us and summon us to the stage. So we're very accountable. And that gets loopier and loopier as the 28 hours go on. You're going to get a very different performance from Jill at 8 p.m. on Wednesday than you're going to get from her at 11:30 on Thursday. And it's glorious. So that's what's going on there. Here's a mock-up of what this year's shirt might look like. It is a mock-up. I do not know that man. That is not a real t-shirt. This is a random torso from the internet. But everyone who participates in Improvathon as a performer or an audience Iron Audience member does get one of these t-shirts, which can otherwise be hard to come by. We do want to talk about COVID and safety because we care about you all. So first off, all of our standard safety practices will be in place with regards to COVID. As always, we will ask that everyone show proof of vaccination, either ahead of time for performers or at the door for anyone who may be coming to watch. Masks on everybody at all times, except for performers who are prepping backstage or are on stage performing. And then, anyone who has recently been exposed to COVID, we do kindly ask that you make sure you have taken a test and it has come out negative before you do come and participate in the theater. If that means that unfortunately we lose a performer because they're just not able to be there for any of those reasons, that makes us very sad, but we also understand it. And the top priority, especially when the theater is going to be continuously occupied for 28 hours, is making sure we keep everybody safe. Naturally, we don't know what guidance may come up in the next couple of months. So all of this is subject to change and subject to whatever the CDC and the state of Minnesota tells us. And like I said, we are holding out on making a determination on Iron Audience until we get a little bit closer. Because again, the safety of having somebody there in the theater for 28 hours continuously, we want to make sure we can do that and not cause harm. But those who are interested in Iron Audience, please feel free to let me or any of us on staff know. If there's a lot of enthusiasm for it, that at least tells us that we need to find a good alternative to Iron Audience in the theater, whether or not we can actually have it right there in-house, which we'd really like to, everybody, I promise you. All right. So like I said, prizes for those top 3 fundraisers. The prize package for those top 3 groups is a private coaching session. Usually during the Twin Cities Improv Festival, we'll ask one of our visiting artists who may also be giving a public workshop to give a workshop just for those winning groups, which is fun and exciting. Some kind of rad-free huge swag. Oh man, I didn't capitalize huge. I am off brand. Anyway, in past years, it's been a shirt or a scarf or a mug, a hoodie. We've done any number of things. I don't know what we're doing yet this year, but it's something that you will be the first to get your hands on as the Improvathon fundraising champions. Pardon me. And if you've ever been in huge theater, there's a wall right inside the door of the theater where we have a number of little placards with names on them of groups and of individuals. And those placards are for the folks who are our top fundraisers and our top Iron Audience. I should say, actually, all of our Iron Audience. So anyone who does come and do the whole thing with us for 24 hours gets a plaque on the wall. Doesn't matter how much they raised, they've put in the time and they get that. So I did take out the slide about Iron Audience because I'm not sure where we're at there. But our top 3 Iron Audience fundraisers do also receive a golden ticket, which is good for 1 year of tickets at Huge to anything you want to come see. So that is not at all a small thing. In addition to, as I said, the recognition on the wall. Yeah, there we go. I'm just looking at the chat here quick to make sure I haven't. Let me see. We've got positive and negative opinions on bears. Yep, that's valid. That's valid. The swag will be enormous. Yes. Way to talk that up, Kristen. Thank you. Now we're stuck.
Hold on, Sean. Hold on, Sean. You're doing great.
Thank you, John. Was that it?
In true continuation of the bit, John, you are also doing great.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Cool. So moving on along to the next thing. So our fundraising this year, we are asking each group that is participating to set a minimum fundraising goal of $500. And I realize that doesn't sound like nothing, but I got to tell you, we didn't have a single group last year that didn't meet its fundraising goal. So it's more achievable than maybe you think. It's not too bad at all. Can you be in more than one group? Absolutely. but recognize that each group has that $500 fundraising minimum that we're asking you to hit. So if you are spreading yourself really, really thin, consider whether you really have the fundraising pull to bring in the money from all of those different people. And generally, if we do have an iron audience, we do ask them to set a goal of at least $100 per person. Like I said, last year, we had a fairly small iron audience, but none of them came in under $400. So a very achievable, very doable thing. So the way it's going to work, this should be on the scheduling page really, but so we're going to set up a performer registration that will be open through, I believe, October 24th. So any groups that want to sign up need to get signed up by then. And then within the couple days after that, Butch Roy and I, the executive director, because we don't have an artistic director right now, will be sitting down and puzzling together the schedule out of all the people we have. And hopefully we can fit everybody in. I don't know that we've ever had to turn anybody away, but we do have space for about 42 groups, and we've certainly come close to that in the past. So in that case, we would prioritize groups that aren't people who are in many, many, many things, but hopefully it won't be an issue. And then once we do get that list out somewhere around October 25th, 26th, we do give everybody a few days just to get their fundraising page on GiveMN.org completed, which is not a complex process. We'll give you full directions. And then fundraising begins November 1st. So there are prizes for early donations, even if they're not on Give to the Max Day. The few weeks ahead of Give to the Max Day, they have daily draws in those golden ticket lotteries for extra prizes. So at that point, you can start fundraising with the friends and family, even though on the day is even better. All right. So our bragging rights, we have been really successful with this event, especially over the past several years. Last year, we were #1 in the number of donations in our size category and #3 in the amount. Which is pretty huge considering, some of the other organizations we're grouped with in those categories. And we were the #7 organization in all of the Twin Cities metro in terms of number of donations. Part of Huge's strategy is because we have so many of you all helping with the fundraising and helping us find donors. We get a lot of donations, and many of them are not especially large. It's $5 here, $10 there, but that adds up. And we're really proud of that. I'm really excited of that our success is built on a lot of people wanting to help us out, even if they don't have massive capability to do that. So yeah, nothing wrong with those really lovely, small, jewel-like donations of $5 a piece. We had donations from 37 states and at least 6 other countries last year. And as I said, every single group beat their minimum fundraising goal. So very doable. And the excitement at the end of the day last year, we managed to squeak by last year's goal, which was also $50,000 by a margin of $7, which was really magical. We're sticking with that goal again this year. Often we go up with that goal, but we feel like this year is a little uncertain and we don't know what's happening. So we are holding to that. Though, like I said, we would love to be able to set a stretch goal and blow right past 50,000. Oh, yes, absolutely, Shay. Thank you. I should have turned on live transcription a long time ago. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you, Bree. That's very kind. All right. So that is that. And in terms of how the fundraising works, yep, like I said, every team will have their own fundraising page on GiveMN, so your fundraising can be individually tracked as well as getting that big total for Huge. Same goes for our audience members if we're doing that. We do, for people who are not performing in Improvathon, we do welcome an audience. We'd love to have them there. Usually our suggested donation is $10, but we do advocate, if you do have people coming, to encourage them to donate ahead of time online rather than donating cash or credit card in person. That makes sure that that money gets counted toward those donations on GiveMN and makes tracking easier for everybody involved. And we'll trust them. It's a suggested donation. If they tell us they gave $10, we believe them. Great. I'm going to read this one more or less word for word. I am not a natural fundraiser. This was an aspect of the job that I really struggled with arriving at Huge, was the idea of asking people for money. It doesn't come naturally to me. It was not brought up that way. But through some studying courses and what have you since then, what I've come away with is this. Your friends and family outside of the improv community don't really care about Huge per se. They just don't. It's not a part of their world. They don't do improv. So why would they care about this improv theater in Minneapolis? But what they do care about is you. And they want to support things that you care about and that are meaningful to you and make you happy. So in fundraising, what we're doing is just genuinely communicating with people why this place is important to us and why we care about it and why we want it to survive. And giving people the opportunity, if they want to support that. I think in our heads, we often frame it as begging or pressuring or imposing on people. And it really isn't that at all. You're just giving them the chance to support you by supporting Huge. And worst case scenario, they just decide not to give a donation, and that's fine. I'm sure if you've ever had anyone send you an email or a message about like, hey, I'd love it if you donated cause X, you didn't come away thinking less of them as a person or a friend for that, especially if it was a cause that really mattered to them. So I'd encourage you to take the same mindset into it. It's really easy to feel embarrassed about asking people for money. And we shouldn't, because really what we're doing is giving that opportunity. In terms of some practical things to do, like I said, just be really direct with folks about why Huge is important to you. I'm really good at kicking out corporate talking points, but that is not what connects with people. What connects with people is knowing why it matters to you. If there's a personal story about why Huge matters, if you can point to the difference it's made in your life, that is going to be really meaningful to the people who care about you. And make lists of your friends, coworkers, families. Think about the different groups in your lives, maybe from different periods in your lives. Are there old friends you still talk to from high school, coworkers, what have you? And consider what sort of medium of message is going to communicate best with those different groups of folks. And we have a whole list of those in a slide or two, I think, maybe. But whether it's email or text or social media message, I don't know, smoke signals, pulling a banner behind a plane, whatever makes sense to the people you're talking to. And throw a wide net. In just putting the word out there that this was something I cared about and that we were soliciting donations, I have been kind of amazed at the folks I kind of knew in high school that want to kick in $5 or $10 because they know it matters to me, and that's exciting. So don't fear that, like, well, no, I don't know this person well enough. You probably do, and you may be surprised who comes back. Yeah, and then keeping it simple. Thank yous are big. Public thank yous can be especially big. Thank yous on social media are a reminder to people that to other people that someone is given, and it's a kind of reward that you're giving to your donor, that they're getting your public gratitude. Bree says no one is going to punch you in the face for asking. Certainly if you're not asking in person. So that's an advantage there. But no one is going to punch you in the face, period. I mean, if you know someone is in the middle of a bankruptcy, hey, you can take a pass on that one. It's fine. All right. Oh, yep. Here's that page. So just a number of different ways you may be able to communicate with your community, either in a one-way or two-way sense. Facebook, emails to individuals, emails to groups, texts, calls, whatever social media broadcast system you and the kids are using these days. Whatever makes sense. A few more pro tips on that. I know this is a lot of fundraising talk. We're getting close to the end of it, I promise. Know that if you start promoting Improvathon on the day of, it is really going to be too late. It takes some time for that messaging to sink in with people and for it to get past Facebook's algorithms. So giving some heads up that this is coming ahead of time can be a big help. Make sure your posts are set to public. Tag people. That tends to raise the profile posts, as well as using images, whether it's the Improvathon logo or a photo that you snapped at the event, what have you. Keeping things personal is very important. If people feel like they matter to you on an individual level, they're more likely to want to help you out. Public thank yous, as I said. We also strongly recommend drafting your basic, your template thank you letter or email ahead of the event. I can't tell you how much harder it becomes to get those things accomplished after the thing is all over. And if you give yourself the really turnkey solution before we get to the event, you're going to make your life a lot easier. And thank yous are hugely important. We'll touch on that in a minute. Yes. Also, as Bree says, commenting on and liking posts of other people fundraising also helps drive the visibility on Facebook or other social media of those posts, so you can help each other out. All right. Here it is. The art of the thank you. I can't tell you how important it is that people doing the fundraising. Ooh, can we have some custom Improvathon gifts? You're here with all the big asks, Ragnacci. I don't know how I feel about it. All right, we'll see what we can do about that. Anyway, as I was saying, thank yous are massively important. Thank yous are why we may see somebody donating more than just once. It matters a lot to a lot of people that they hear from you, your gratitude that they gave. So an immediate thank you as soon as that donation comes in is amazing. Send them a note. Put a post on Facebook, letting them know how grateful you are, but also make sure after the fact that you send out at least mildly personalized messages to the folks who have given to you to let them know it really mattered, because it does. And those are the people who, when you ask again next year, will remember how good it felt to help you and make you feel good, and will want to do it again. And personal and fast is better than polished. It doesn't have to be formal or pretty or corporate. And in fact, it's much better if it's not. Kristen only donates for gifts. All right. Okay. So more information on this. We will make sure this link is posted all over the place, but that tiny URL is sort of our master Improvathon guide for the year. If you do go to that link right now, you will find that there are a lot of items that still say pending. That's because this is in fact a kickoff meeting. So a number of those things won't get in place until the next few days, when we will get those links out there so you can do everything you need to do. If, as we're proceeding, there are logos or images that you need, let us know. We're happy to help with that. I've got this fancy new huge Improvathon 2021 logo in Photoshop, and I can make it any shape or size we need it to be. So if there's something that would be helpful to you, don't hesitate to say so. I would also encourage you, if you haven't already, though if you're here in this meeting, you very likely have, to join well, first and foremost, the huge community Slack is really where we're trying to move a lot of our communications to. We're trying to divest from Facebook as much as we can. So if you're comfortable joining that Slack, that's great. We have an Improvathon channel where folks can talk to each other, as well as we can communicate information to you. Barring that, we do also have our huge Improvathon 2021 Facebook group. That should be very searchable. So do join us there, and we'll make sure that all of the information that needs to get out is getting to folks there as well. Folks can share tips and experiences and excitement on either of those channels. Oh man, we've gotten to the GIF discussion. I'm not getting into it. All right. So next steps. If you do have a group that would like to perform in Improvathon, we do have the registration link ready to go there. Again, we will make sure this gets posted in a number of places. So I know it may not be clickable for you on the screen there. You don't need to wildly jot it down. We'll make sure that it's on the Slack and the Facebook group, and in the Improvathon guide. So it'll be there for you. Having registered, if you have participated in Improvathon in the past, it's great if you do grab any images, description text, whatever, from your past fundraising pages. That way you have it on hand. Huge, like I said, we'll email a time slot to everybody on or around October 25. Hopefully we will have space for everybody and that'll be no problem. At that point, we will send you directions on the specific steps of how to set up your Give MN fundraising page. They're not too complicated, but it is important that you follow those specific steps because there are ways to go wrong if you don't. Not a big deal if that happens. We're happy to help you out, but it may just mean redoing a few things to make sure that everybody is on the leaderboard and getting counted toward this fundraiser, and not just getting counted towards fundraising for Huge in some general loosey-goosey way. So we have that window until the 29th to get that page set up. We will also send out a second form to each of the groups, where we will ask for your GiveMN page URL, the names of everybody in the group, and the t-shirt sizes that everybody wants. So we make sure we're getting all the t-shirts we need. And at that point, once you've sent that secondary registration into us, your spot is confirmed and you are ready to roll when the time comes. More ways you can help. Whether or not you want to perform, these are all wonderful things you can do to help make this event more successful. Spreading the word, letting people know it's happening, inviting people to come watch, to come donate. Be or find a matching donor. Many of the companies folks work for have matching donation programs, and sometimes folks aren't even aware of it. So this is a good opportunity to exploit that program if they have it. Or if you do want to set up a matching donation where up to a certain amount, you will match it. That's great too. That does have a funny psychological way of getting people to donate because they feel like they're doubling their donation. We will also need volunteers, lots of them. Shay just sent me the spreadsheet today for people to sign up. We need folks, a number of folks on box office to help coordinate traffic, make sure everything's moves smoothly, as well as some photographers to help shoot throughout the event. And just some sort of gophers, I guess, just people to be there and ready to go, to run around and do what needs to be done. Keeping an entire theater operational and moderately clean and livable for 28 hours is a bigger challenge than you might imagine. So we do need the help, and that is a wonderful way to help out if you can. And if you're inclined, we are happy to accept donated packaged food, drinks, or snacks. Or if you have a contact with a local restaurant that would like to donate any sort of catering. We do have a coffee shop that we've been working with for coffee for the last number of years. We haven't yet reached out to them this year. So if you do have a personal connection anywhere that has coffee, that's certainly something we go through a lot of. All right. And that is everything I've got, everybody. I don't know if I missed any questions. Does anyone have any questions that we haven't answered about Improvathon at this point?
I have a question. How do you do that so well? That was amazing. Front to back, the whole Improvathon never sounded so good. That's my question. I'll take it off there.
Stop it with you. Well, thank you very much. I feel like I've just talked for about 40 minutes nonstop, which is a lot. And thank you to all of you for listening through all of that. At a certain point during this presentation, I ran out of steam for finding clever graphics to go with everything. So we went through a dark spot there together, and I appreciate it. Does Slack allow for picture posting? Yes, indeed it does, Bree. Yeah. Anything else from anybody? Wonderful. Well, we have open channels of communication on this. Like I said, the Slack or that Facebook group are both wonderful places to ask any questions that may come up. I do hope.
Hold on,
many of you-
Sean. Can you
Yeah.
give me a galvanizing speech to send us out of here? You know what I'm talking about? Something to really get
Oh,
the
sure. Oh, sure.
to get
All
us
right.
fired up for what's about to occur, what we're about to do to them,
All right.
whoever they
All
are.
right. All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Improvathon is coming. And we will step out on that battlefield together and face the challenge of fundraising for huge and facing down that $50,000 wall in front of us. And improvisers who are abed that day will count their lives cheap that they are not there with us upon Improvathon Day. That's what I got. with heavy apologies to Shakespeare. Do we have huge stats that we can use in your fundraisers, like number of scholarships given? That is a great question, Bree. That is information we can absolutely dig up. I don't have that all at my fingertips, but yeah, and certainly in terms of percentage of students that receive scholarships, we do have that information, and I'd be happy to pull that together and share that on the Slack and Facebook groups. All right, everybody. Well, with that in mind, get out there, register your groups for Improvathon. We cannot wait to see you on stage. And thank you all so much for being here. We'll call this a wrap.
Woohoo! Yes.
And I will stop recording.
That's a properly.
Woo!